Hello, this is Caleb Grove from OnRamp Web Design, and in this Backdraft screencast we will look at installing Backdraft and working with modules, which are the basic building blocks of any Backdraft website. So without further ado, let's get started. I've already downloaded the file and moved it to my desktop so we can work with it easier, so let's go ahead and open this up. And you'll see here we have several actions, and then we have the template file itself. Now we need to start by installing the actions, so let's just select all of these and double click on them. Alright, so now that the actions are installed, let's install the template. Double click on the template and then choose Install. Now you're probably going to need to restart Freeway Pro so that it can refresh its cache of which templates are installed. So let's go ahead and do that. And then in the new document dialog, you'll see a folder called Responsive. And then in that folder, you will see Backdraft 2.0. Go ahead, select that and click OK. So now we need to name our website, in which case we will just name it Backdraft Website, and we will save it to the desktop. All right, welcome to Backdraft 2.0. First things first, let's go ahead and remove this little welcome message. We are not going to be working with master pages in this screencast. We'll just be discussing the basic building blocks of using Backdraft. So we won't be delving into a lot of that style of customization and more advanced topics. You can find those out in the docs and also in some upcoming screencasts that I'm going to be putting together. So in this screencast, for the sake of time, we'll just cover the basics, working with modules and populating with your own content. So let's go ahead and get a header because that's what we need at the top of our page. To do that, we'll go to the Backdraft Extra Modules page. This page contains the headers and a video module, a contact form module, and at the very bottom, a full width wrapper. In this case, we want to use the over/under header module. So what we need to do is we need to copy it to our clipboard, but we can't simply click and copy because we won't actually get the right item. There's a wrapper around this that is really challenging to click on. So instead, what we're going to do is we are going to click on the triangle to the left of the page name in the sidebar. Now, if you do not see that triangle, go down to the gear and check Show Items. So click on that triangle and it'll open up the hierarchy of that page. In this case, we're looking for over/under header wrapper. It's key that you make sure that the elements that you copy have the name wrapper in them. If they don't, they are a child of the wrapper, and that's not what you want to copy over because your layout will break. So let's go ahead and copy that. Command C. Now we'll go back to our starting page, and we will double click inside this page so that we get a blinking text cursor at the top left. Then we will paste in the module by pressing Command V. Now we have the header module. Let's go ahead and preview and just make sure that things look like they're working okay. Now sometimes the Freeway preview doesn't refresh and doesn't work properly, so typically I end up previewing in Safari just to make sure that things look okay. So far so good. All right, back to our Freeway file. Now we need a one column, big, basically hero image. So we're going to go to our Frameworks Modules page, and this contains your basic one column, two column, all the way down to 6 column layouts. And we want to get this one column one. So once again, click on the triangle, copy the one wrapper element to our clipboard, go back to our starting page, and this time we're going to double click beneath the header. So go ahead and double click down here and then Command V to paste again. All right, looking pretty good, but I want to replace this graphic with my own. So how are we going to do that? Well, in Backdraft 2.0 and in Freeway 7, things changed a little bit with graphic items. In order to have a flexible width graphic, the image has to be imported as a pass-through image. So what is a pass-through image? A pass-through image is an image that you imported in a way that it lets Freeway know not to touch it. So you can't scale, you can't crop, you can't zoom, you can't make any adjustments to the image whatsoever in Freeway. It all has to be set up and ready to go to size, to scale, to quality before you import it into Freeway as a pass-through. So this sounds a little difficult because it means you have to have your image all ready to go before you can even bring it into Freeway, and you lose out on a lot of Freeway's really awesome graphic editing capabilities. However, there is a workflow that will work around this. So let's get started. On my desktop, I have a graphic that I already want to use. It's just a picture of my workstation. I'm going to drag it and drop it in here. So this imported it as a non-pass-through item. This is not a pass-through. This is a regular graphic because I have these little drag handles here. But I'm just going to start with this and choose scale and trim, scoot it around a little bit, get it set up how I like it, open up the inspector, and we're going to adjust the quality. I'm going to turn that, well, let's go ahead and leave that at 75 or 77, close enough. We'll leave it at 77 and just play with it until we're happy with how it looks. If you want to get a more accurate look, you'll want to check graphics preview. So there we go, that looks pretty good. I'll be happy with that. So now what I need to do is I need to export this graphic. Go to File, Export. Now we want to save this just to our desktop and we will name it Web Ready. Make sure that you have the format selected that you chose in Freeway. Click Save. This next dialog will automatically set itself to the settings that you have in Freeway. So once again, just click OK. And we will see that we now have the Web Ready graphic right here. If we open that in Quick Look, it's scaled, it's adjusted, it's been downsized to what we want to work with. So back in Freeway, select the image and go to File, Import, and choose Web Ready. Now it's important that you select pass-through and ignore resolution will check by default, and then click Open. So you can see now we lose our graphic handles, we have no way to adjust this image, but it is flexible. If we open this in our preview, we'll see that the image is stretching and flexing to work properly. All right, so now that that's done, we want to add a 3-column wrapper underneath here, and then we'll put in a footer. So for the 3-column wrapper, we'll just go over to our Frameworks Modules page, grab our 3 wrapper, copy it to a clipboard, go back to our main master, or excuse me, our starting page, double click beneath and paste. You've done this before, you know what's up. But I just forgot, I actually wanted to have a 5-column in between the 1-column and the 3-column modules. So how am I going to do that? Because I've been just adding them beneath and stacking them vertically. How do I get in between there? Well, first things first, let's go get our module. So Framework Modules, 5 wrapper, copy it to our clipboard, go to our starting page. Now we are going to open up the hierarchy view, the item view on our starting page, and find 3 wrapper. It's right here. Now we are going to press the left arrow button on our keyboard once, and that will insert our cursor in between the 2 elements. Press Command V to paste. There we go. That's looking much better. I'm gonna pull that out. There we go. That's looking much better. That's what I want. Now, last but not least, we want a footer, but not just any footer. I want the footer background to stretch across the full width of the page. So let's go ahead and go over to our extra modules page. And down at the bottom, we have our full width wrapper. Select it and make sure once again that the item name has a wrapper in it. Copy it to our clipboard, go to our starting page, scroll down, double click, paste, just like what we've been doing. So if we open this in Safari now, we stretch this out, we will see that we have a full width white element at the bottom. We are getting close. So let's go back into Freeway. And we need to add our 4-column module into that. So we will go to our Framework Modules page again, grab our 4 wrapper element, go to our starting page, and now we are going to double click inside of the full width wrapper. So double click in here and press Command V to paste your module in. All right, let's take a look at this in Safari and see how we're looking. We have our full width, we have our columns beneath. All right, we're looking really good. Now to change your content, it's as simple as double clicking and just selecting this text and replacing it with whatever you want. So that's really straightforward. All right, so let's test out and see if this is responsive. Well, it looks like everything is working really well. We have our nifty drop-down menu and everything is breaking down into smaller modules. All right, so everything looks like it's working well. I hope this screencast helped you get an understanding of Backdraft, how it works, and how you can work with modules to achieve your own fully custom layouts. I look forward to seeing what you guys create with Backdraft. As always, let me know if you have any questions or problems. Take care, go forth, and make the web responsive.